Okay. Please excuse me. It is very, very early. I would play Why the Fuck Am I Awake Right Now, but I already know. I tried to do the full moon reading, and I kept getting interrupted by people. So, Spirit's solution to that problem, apparently, is to wake me up when there's no chance of anybody else possibly walking in on me, making noise in the background, or anything else. Or eavesdropping, because that's a big one lately. Like, like we don't know. They still don't, don't get that. I mean, I guess they maybe they know that we know about the monitoring spirits, and they just don't care because they're still, like able to get information or whatever, until, those people are removed from our, lives and vicinity, so they can no longer do that. I guess it's a bit of that. It's like just trying to like hold on for dear life to whatever control and information they may have left. And I guess that's how you know the time is near, right? All right, so we are doing a full moon read for the Gemini full moon in December, which apparently is called a cold moon. And, I'm going to start with the What's the Tea deck, because I say so. Okay. All right, here, let's start with some tea. Forcer. Okay. Okay, so I said something before about like this full moon. I felt like this full moon was going to be about like forcing communication, right? Full moon, full circle, full cycle, right? Cycle complete. It's like you have beef with somebody who has tried to avoid it by like pleading the fifth or something, okay? Some kind of situation like that, where they're like, it's like they're no longer able to do that, or they didn't even plead the fifth, right? They just tried to act as though you didn't matter, the situation didn't matter, or didn't exist in the first place, right? Even though it's quite clear that it does, right? And it's actually like a really big deal. So, forcing things on you, forces their way in, uses force to get what they want. Yeah, I'm not getting that kind of energy. I'm getting the other kind, the kind that I just described, where like they are being forced. And maybe it is you. Maybe it is you that is forcing this situation, but it's because they've put you in a position where it had to be done this way. So maybe you have been doing energetic, magic and using the moon cycles to get this, issue resolved, to get this to come to a conclusion, because you need to move on to bigger and better things. And these people are trying to hold you back by leaving it unresolved, and that's just not an option anymore. Okay. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the video and or the channel as a whole, because it really helps. What else? Okay. Looking you up, researching you, studying you, getting info. So they could be doing this to you, but I feel like part of how you were able to force this communication of some kind is that you were in fact the one, like collecting data or, getting info, keeping records kind of stuff, right? Okay. Yeah. It's like they keep acting like they're unfazed, okay? Because it's like they want to fake it till they make it, like till it just goes away. Maybe that's how they've done things in the past. And people just say, oh, it's not worth it and give up. Or they're just like delusional, like to the point that like they don't get it. Like they really don't see how and why, like this is an issue. And I'm getting it's because they are so delusional, to the point that like they have been allowed to get away with so much. Yeah. Thief. They've been allowed to get away with so much for so long. Thief. I'm getting like energy thief, money thief. They may have just been, a dastardly, like stealing jobs from people, you know what I mean? Like promotions, just kind of like shit like that. Like this is the kind of person that they are, right? Physical or emotional. They just cause loss, right? They're takers. They take whatever they want and they always get away with it. And they thought that they were going to get away with it this time with you, and they're not, because you're not letting it go. You are holding them accountable, forcing them to be accountable. And dirt digging, I am getting from this one, maybe you have done some dirt digging, but this is giving me more that they did you wrong, right? And so they're trying to dig dirt on you, right? And this is what they've been doing the whole time, trying to dig dirt on you to say, oh, well, you did this, right? To try to like excuse what they did or negate it in some way so that they can try and get away with this. The problem is there is no dirt on you. That's why they've been silent, because they have nothing to come at you with. So instead they've chosen silence, to ignore what they've done. And I'm getting, you're not having it, and the Most High is not having it. Because this person, you are not the first person that this person has tried to do this to, or successfully done this to. And it's time. It's time for them to learn the lesson, and I feel like it's being forced on them by Spirit, because Spirit has tried to reach them, directly, but they ignore it, unfazed, right? And they ignore Spirit, and so it's like Spirit sent you in to try to get this person to wake up, to stop doing, the evil shit that they've been doing. And even with you, like a 3D, like, real world person standing in front of them, maybe even giving them direct messages from Spirit. It's like, because if Spirit can't work through you directly, it's just like the devil, like opposite, right? If the devil can't get to you directly, then they'll work in the people around you. Well, God works in the same way. Angels work in the same way. Where like, if someone is so closed off that they can't reach that person directly, then they will use the people around them, right? That's why we have, like earth angels, okay? They do that kind of work. And this is you. You are an earth angel doing the work of God, trying to force this person to learn a lesson that God has been trying to teach them that they have just flat out refused and ignored. All right, what else do we need to know about this situation? And this is the energy. This is what I'm getting from this moon cycle, is that like this is the underlying energy. And it can apply to you in many different ways, but you may just have someone who is refusing to acknowledge a harm that they have done to you in some way. And God is clearing that out, because I feel like it's been going on for way too long. It's been dragged out. And it's time, right? Okay, King of Swords. It's like the law, okay? A lawyer of some kind. And this could be spiritual or actual lawyer, right? The law had to get involved. The law had to step in here. Could be Archangel Michael, right? To deal with this person. Also communication, right? Air sign, communication, right? It's like they are being forced by some kind of law where they have to communicate. They can no longer ignore or remain silent or plead the fifth. They can't plead the fifth anymore, basically, right? They have to be held accountable for what they have done. I feel like this is you. Queen of Wands, passionate, confident, independently, holding this person accountable, passionate about the fact that they be held accountable, standing up for what is right, and remaining optimistic that you will succeed, right? That this is going to happen. And also a little witchy, right? So you may have done a little, like I said, may have done a little moon magic to get this, to come to the forefront and be forced to be dealt with. Yeah. Ace of Swords, that's the truth. Okay. And it is, like maybe in regards to some kind of legal matter. Okay. Like in the courts. Or maybe in regards to a signature. All right. Or, yeah. Or maybe we're like some kind of thing, like they took your crown, or they took like, an inheritance of some kind. Something that was meant for you. It's like they have it, and they're like holding on to it and waving it around in front of you like, ha ha ha, I got what's yours, ha 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 ha. You can't do anything about it, ha ha ha. And it's like, I feel like this is what they did, right? But they're not laughing anymore because it's a serious situation. It's a very serious situation. And I feel like you're probably family. I feel like this is the kind of person who treats the people closest to them worse than anybody else, because they feel like they have some level of protection, if they pick on family, because, it's like, well, you can't sue family, you know what I mean? Or you can't bring charges against family. And it's like, you are just, now I'm getting, you're this unfazed energy, right? Okay, where you're just like, yes, the fuck I can. Like, who the fuck said I can't, right? Like, you're like, oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. You are unfazed by that mentality, right? You don't buy into that bullshit, okay? And you want also, I'm getting a little bit here, like justice. It's like you're standing there with your sword. And I feel like this sword is like the proof, right? Okay? that you have that brings the mental clarity. Yes, very much. I feel like this is the proof and evidence that you have on them, and you are like forcing them to take it. It's like you are forcing them to look at this and say, look, you took my crown. Look what you did. You took this from me. Here it is. Clear as day. Forcing them to acknowledge the truth. Tell me more. It's too many. All right, let's try that again. Yeah, okay. 3 of Wands. Okay, so now you're at the point where, okay, you've given all of your evidence, basically. And now it's like you are waiting for an answer, waiting for an answer. And I feel like you've been waiting a little too long. And that's why Spirit is helping you use this full moon energy to force this communication. Okay? Right. Because there's 2 of Swords. There's a difficult decision that needs to be made that they have tried to delay, block, and avoid. And, thinking that like, oh, well, it's just going to go away. They'll give up eventually. And that's not happening because you're very passionate and determined to hold this person accountable, no matter who they are. If it's a job, if it's a family member, if it's a stranger on the street, it doesn't matter who it is. You are passionate about the fact that they acknowledge the truth and be held accountable for their actions and their decisions. It's upside down and out, so we're just going to go back. Yeah. To close out this cycle. Like I said, like this cycle needs to end. This situation needs to end. They have dragged it out long and far beyond like what anybody's patience, could stand. And it's just time, because part of the cycle that needs to be closed out is not just necessarily what they've done to you, like I said, but like Spirit sent you in to close out this cycle for them in like the bullying and the theft and the abuse of other people that they do to everyone. What else do we need to know for this situation? Okay, right? Exposure. All right, you have exposed this person, their actions, their intentions, their bad intentions. Everything has come out. Everything has come to light. You have shined the light on this person and this situation as a whole. And I feel like now that this cycle is closing out, you can begin, right? Now you can begin, your positive, like new beginning. Like you get to move on and be happy now. Just knowing that the truth has come out, that you did the best you could. And you remained optimistic throughout the whole thing, right? You never gave up hope. You never gave up hope. You never gave up trying, right? You just never gave up. Okay, I'm also getting the feeling of like this King of Swords energy may be bringing them, some kind of truth about the fact that they've been exposed, and you know what I mean? Like, what happens now kind of thing. And whatever this information is, it's going to be, what forces them to speak on it in some way. Even if they just say, fuck you, you know what I mean? It's like a response is required. A response is like legally required. And it's like they have a lawyer that's telling them, you legally have to say something. Like, you can't just say or do nothing. It must be addressed. Because if it's not addressed by you now, then it's going to be addressed in a court later kind of thing. Okay? Right? Judgment. That's what I'm getting from that, right? It's that, like, judgment is going to happen. It's already happened, right? Judgment has been called on you, and you must respond in some way, because if you do not respond, then it will go to court, litigation, okay? Yeah. I feel like this is you too, right? This Queen of Swords energy, where you are, again, like with that sword. Here you go. This is what you did. Now take accountability for it, right? It's like almost like accusations, right? Like legal accusations. It's like you are saying, I know that you did this, and this. And if if you don't do something to acknowledge it and or make it right, then I am going to take your ass to court so fast, or I'm going to lock you up. And I feel like Nine of Pentacles, it's like you're doing this all by yourself, okay? You may not have the backing of anybody else, but you don't care. You don't care. You don't need anybody else's approval, anybody else's assistance. Like, you can do it all by yourself, right? And I think this is what you're trying to reach for, right? Because I think this is probably part of what they took away from you, was your financial independence and your also rewarded efforts. So I feel like your efforts are going to be rewarded in this situation. Success. Finally, it's like this full moon is bringing you success in this situation because you remained, steadfast. You knew that it was a worthy cause, you know what I mean, to go after it, even if nobody else did. That's what I'm getting. Like, you may have been the only one independently, just believing that this was a worthy cause. And the Empress, right? Okay, so I feel like this situation is ending very well for you, okay? So I don't know exactly what your situation is, but you come off as independent, intelligent, honest, fair, having good judgment. And so, like, if it goes to court, right, they know you're gonna win. That's the energy I'm getting from that as well. Because it's like all of this is you. This is what you look like. They look like monsters compared to you and for what they did to you. Because you may be a mother, and they may have done something to you independently, but also your children. Like, coming for you in the way that they did also, was coming for your children. So maybe they attacked your financial independence. That would hurt your children, right? Your stability, like all of it. And you are, this, like, I'm getting too that, like, you are innocent here. You did not deserve any of what they did. And it's clear and evident, right? The dirt digging, that they have no dirt on you. You have all the dirt on them, and they have absolutely none on you. So tell me more about this forced communication, please, for the Gemini full moon. So it's like 9 of Wands and the 8 of Cups, okay? It's like you persevered, right? You stood the test of time. You were like a dog with a bone, okay? Never gave up. Never gave up, never gave in, never gave them an inch, right? Forced them to take accountability. Like, you went to battle. You may have already had some kind of court battle, right? And you never gave up. And so now I feel like everything is coming, right, to a completion, and you can finally like let go of whatever trauma you may have from what they did to you, right? It's like getting closure on on all the wounds that they caused you and your children, and being able to close out this cycle, right, with the full moon there, and move on, right? It's like they may be, at a point where they're wanting to move on from this too. And maybe they're starting to realize that the only way that is actually going to happen for them is if they at least acknowledge, justice, right? Judgment and justice. They have to acknowledge what they've done. And not just like, they have to publicly, I feel like it's publicly acknowledged, because it's not just enough. It's not just enough for you. It's not just enough for spirit for them to acknowledge it within themselves, because that's not going to teach them a lesson. It has to be public. Okay? They have to acknowledge it to at least one other person in order for them to be held accountable. And that person may be the law, maybe the lawyer, maybe you, maybe anybody else who knew anything about this situation. They're going to have to like come clean. Right? The truth has already come out. And so, it's like things need to be balanced out. This is the universe, forcing this in order to balance the situation. Because I feel like you cannot move on. Because it's like you can't get through the next portal, right? The moon phase, the portals. You can't get through the portal without the closure. Like, we've talked a little bit about that lately, about how a lot of this energy work that we're doing is about getting closure for past issues, to help us move forward and jump those timelines, right? And Ten of Swords, I'm getting, this is a painful permanent ending, thank God, right? Because it's been a very painful process for you entirely. And it's like, for them, it's just now getting to the point where it's painful. The end is the only part that's painful for them, right? Because they did all of this to you, and now they're having to look at it, right? And take accountability for it. And then the Six of Swords. So it's like, finally being able to accept the lesson, right? They're finally accepting the lesson that God has been trying to teach them for a very long time. And God used you to get them to this point, because they need to move on to the next phase of their life as well. A phase that hopefully doesn't involve any more of this, evil shit, basically. okay? I hope this has helped you in some way, shape, or form. I hope, if nothing else, it has entertained you for a few moments in time, and I hope, if you haven't already, you will like, share, and subscribe to the video and to the channel as a whole. Bye.